Hello, my name is David Massey and I enjoy making art with watercolors, oil paint, and charcoal. In this video, I'll be painting a watercolor of three ladies getting ready to take to the surf with their boards. First, I'm going to make a charcoal sketch of the scene before I do the watercolor. In the charcoal sketch, you'll notice I sketched in a fairly foggy, misty skyline, no real definition in the sky. But in the watercolor, I decided to make it more of a cloudy sky, more light up in the sky, and that allowed me to play with more reflections and more light on the ground, reflecting off of the wet sand and the water. I made a sketch on this 14 by 20, 140-pound piece of watercolor paper from Arsh. And then starting on the sky with a warm and a cool blue, with ultramarine blue and a cerulean blue. Just kind of went between the two. And in skies, I like to keep them simple, like to go in, get out, and not fuss with them too much. And I also like to have a single point of interest somewhere in the sky, so something to look at. You'll notice that on the right-hand side, there'll be this darker area, and that's where the eye will land, in the sky area. Then I add similar colors to the beach, to the sand area below, and the water reflecting. I also will use some of the warm tones for the sand and mix some of that in there as well. As I mix up the paint for the distant hills, the darks there, you'll notice that I don't completely mix the paint on the palette because I want to have some of that separate pigment, so separate hues on the brush. You'll notice I'm getting blues and warm colors, some browns in there. It just makes it more interesting to see those hue shifts. Now for the waves. I wanted to keep it real simple. I don't want the attention to be on the waves. The attention should be on the surfers, on the figures. I do want to have something out there that they're looking at. So I do put in waves, but I'm not spending a lot of time on waves in this painting. And now for the figures. Since they're backlit by the sky and the light water, the reflections, that sort of thing, their wetsuits are going to be fairly dark, but that doesn't mean they're black, just completely black. What I decided to do is use some of the same pigments that I used in the hills in the background, just a thicker, darker version of it, and go between that warm and cool again. I really enjoy putting in the reflections on the sand, on the wet sand from the figures. It's sort of an abstract image in itself. Even though these are reflections from the figures, They do sort of have to be accurate, but in a way they don't. It really needs to add to the painting, not tell a true story about what was actually there or what was actually being reflected off the sand. I put in the reflections that the painting called for, and I think it turned out pretty well. I kept the tone and color of the surfboards fairly subtle. I didn't want those to be the main subject of the painting. I felt that distant hills were competing too much with the figures, so I'll lighten those a bit with some titanium white. It goes on pretty thick and white and then dries a little bit more transparent. It's very subtle. You won't notice that much of a difference once it's dry. Well, that about does it for this one. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe if this is content that appeals to you.